like I was saying about that particular, like I was saying that particular picture. If God wants to show a particular form where He's present throughout the whole universe, He can do it.
Right. So
that's Him throughout the whole universe.
I understand He can do that. What I'm saying,
yeah, but bro,
this is
one thing.
this is
You're saying you can't have a form.
I haven't finished what I'm saying.
No, but if you can't have a form,
let me just finish what I'm saying.
Carry on. Yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying to you is, yes, of course, if God wanted to take on the form of a man, of a human being, of course He can. That's not what the point we're making. What we're saying is, you're showing us His natural form. That's what you're showing us, right? His 4 arms, that's His natural form, right? How He's always been throughout eternity. And what we're saying is that you take away from the very definition of God, which is that He cannot be in a form, okay, in His natural form. He can take on a form, but in His natural state, He cannot be that because He's omnipresent, He's immaterial, His spirit, which can't be touched, it can't be seen. It can't be, and so now He's no longer omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent God. He's now limited to time and space, just like we are, and that's what the Bible warns us in Exodus chapter 20. If you read it, it says, "Do not make
false idols."
No. He said, "Do not make
graven images
in the likeness of that which is in heaven." So don't make these images. You know that when you go to Catholic churches, they got these images, and it's kind of
idolatry.
It's idolatry. It's idolatry.
If I'm not mistaken, there is a particular part when Moses comes down and he's seeing that the worshippers at that particular time had made this golden calf, and they said that this is something that we'll worship. So they manufactured that, right?
And what did God do?
So Moses
destroyed them.
Was God pleased with that or displeased with that?
Because it's a false religion.
Yes, okay.
It's manufacturing a religion, right?
Right.
But what Moses is saying, look, that I've come down with this knowledge, and I'm going to give you this knowledge that's come from God. So in the same ways that God can turn around and give us this knowledge and say, this is how the mature world is created. This is the definition of a spirit soul, and this is who I am. And we're saying that if God wants, He can do anything. If we're saying that God, hold on. If we say that, like, if God takes on the material form, that He's limited and so on and so on.
No, that's what I'm saying. You cannot. Let me explain what I'm saying. In God's natural state, yeah, from eternity,
it's spirit,
right? He cannot be a physical entity. He cannot be hands-on.
Not like me and you.
Well, no, not in any way. He cannot be limited to time and space. He transcends the universe.
Yeah.
Okay? And so,
but that doesn't mean just because He's taken on a form, just because He's taken on...
Right. Now that's a different thing. If you're saying that God then can take on another form, like for example, we believe that God was incarnated through Jesus Christ. So we know that God came in several times, and He showed Himself to people like Abraham and so on and so forth. So we know He could take a human form, but what I'm asking is, I'm starting from the beginning. I'm saying from His very necessary state, okay, where His natural state. What does He look like? You show me a picture of a man with 4 arms.
2 arms.
Which
that's His
2 arms, sorry, yeah.
And how do I know that?
And so what I'm saying to you is that it takes away from the definition of God, which is one who's omnipresent, who is immaterial, who cannot be touched, cannot be felt, cannot be seen. It's a spiritual realm, and you've gone into a realm of idolatry.
Yeah. Can I just ask you a question touching on the images? Because this images was presented to you by, was it Hare Krishna?
No, so
who gave you the images?
Okay, so the whole thing that we're saying, right, is that God can't take on a form, because if He does, it's going to be material. So it's the same thing that we're kind of going in this loop, because like I said, is that whenever our conception of things that have a form is matter, we always think that anything that has a form is material. But if there is a spiritual aspect of that, and that's where this knowledge rivals anything else, because it explains that there is a spiritual world.
That's what I want to touch on, the knowledge.
And explains about what is spiritual.
I want to touch on the knowledge, because the images was given to you by somebody, right? So who gave you this image of God?
So whenever there's spiritual knowledge, like in the example of Moses, it's going to be handed down from someone, right?
Yes,
from one person to another person. Yes. So what we believe in is, it's called the disciplic succession. So it's from one spiritual teacher to another spiritual teacher to another spiritual teacher.
Who's the author?
So like it's a student from another student from another student.
The original from God.
So
okay, good.
So it comes from God.
Who's the first person that God gave it to? That's what the person. That's what I want to understand.
So that is, it's a creator known as Brahma. and it goes to his student called Narada Muni,
Okay.
and so on to his student and his student. Now,
That's what I want to touch on. So
wait. If I can finish off,
finish off, then we continue.
So this is the whole thing. That we're going to think that, okay, so if it's going from one teacher
Yes.
to another teacher, and this person is like me and you, so that means that he probably, maybe he goes, drinks or eats meat or so on and so on. We're talking about like perfected human beings that are far superior than us, higher intelligence, and they have spiritual bodies as well. Some of them have spiritual bodies. That means that they're perfect beings. So what they do is that they do everything perfectly. So whenever they receive this knowledge orally, they remember it perfectly, and so they're able to share it to the next student perfectly.
Okay.
So it's a perfect link. But if that chain was to ever break, which it does over the course of time, then what happens is that, like I said, that God either he sends his prophets again, or he sends his knowledge again, or he himself can come down and say, let's start from the beginning. This is what religion is.
I understand what you completely said. So you're saying that God gave the knowledge of his image to a person called Brahma, and Brahma passed it down to his students. So the question is, what makes Brahma a reliable person for us to put our faith in, our trust in, and know that he heard from God, and this is how God really looks like?
Yeah. Good
It's
question.
the same question as saying that how can we trust who Moses is, or how can we trust any other, like Noah, or any other person like his
Moses or Noah.
How?
Let's deal with Brahma.
But how can we explain that? How can we say that this person's authoritative?
Before we get to them,
He'll definitely answer that. He's
Before we get to
asking
them,
you why you believe that. You know?
Before we get to them,
Yeah.
let's deal with Brahma, and then we can choose
Yeah, he'll
Moses
definitely
or
answer
Jesus.
that. Don't worry. But it's just we want to know why. Because, for example, a Muslim will walk up here and they'll say something that, we believe Muhammad because of that, or a Hindu or Sikh or whoever would come and they'll say the same thing. So the same question would ask, it's not just to yourself, and you can ask us too, which we'll answer. But what makes somebody reliable? What makes them reliable? That's the question.
Yeah. So it's in the same way as, let's see now. If you ask me what the time, if you ask,
any of your friends can answer what makes them reliable.
if you asked me what the time was, and I said to you it's 5 to, no, that's not 5 to 1. The clock's wrong.
No, it's 20 past
Yeah,
4.
but that touches on a good point, yeah? We're talking about experience, right? So when it comes to finding out what's a good source, how does science work? You have a theory, you
Reliability.
do the experiment, yeah, exactly, and you do the experiment, when you see the results, you build that trust, you build that faith. There's a big difference between faith and trust. So initially we put our faith in the process. It's like science, we feel the wind, okay, cool. We can see the effects of wind, but what is wind? We don't know until we start experimenting and we start getting the knowledge, right? So what Brahma has given us, what we do is if we apply that to our daily lives, slowly over time, if we see a change in ourselves, we see a change in the way we work. Sometimes you have, through epiphanies and things like that, you read, people join Islam, they read the Quran, before you know it, they're spiritualized, they're elevated to another platform of consciousness of thinking, right? It's that which is your evidence.
So the question was, what makes it reliable? And your answer was,
By taking to the process and
Yeah.
trying
It's really
it,
nice
and you'll
speaking.
see the results within yourself.
okay. For
That's the
example,
difference.
for example, let's say my teachings contradicted Brahma,
Just gonna.
and I gave you some. Five. That's talking to you.
Okay,
Yeah, man.
Take it too, bro.
Let's say my teachings contradicted Brahma, and my advice that I gave you was very helpful to you.
Yeah.
Does that mean my teachings to you would be reliable?
If I took them on board and they changed my consciousness and my life, then yes, they would be
So
reliable.
that will make Brahma unreliable then.
That wouldn't make him unreliable.
You can't
because
have to.
You got to understand.
Remember, I said if my teachings contradicted Brahma.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If they contradict, but this is the point, yeah. This is what I mean, right? So you could say yours contradicts ours. We could say ours contradict yours. But until you take to ours and we take to yours, we're never going to know. We're always going to have an indifference, right? We're always going to have a difference in the way we perceive things. So this is what I'm saying. We need to be open-minded and appreciate and read each other's religions before we
I know
come
you're saying.
to.
You're
You
saying
see what I'm saying?
it's based on feelings that you can tell if someone's reliable. Is that what
Not
you're saying?
feelings, it's experiences. There's a difference between feelings and experiences. People have, like for example, out-of-world experiences. When people remember their previous life, they go to their old place of birth, they see, they're like, yeah, there was a girl here called, whatever, she was 16 when she got hit by a car. These people, they've never been to this region of the USA before, whatever, but they remember things. Yeah, there's evidence. There's kind of, there's evidence that suggests that actually there is something non-physical about them, and not non-physical, but there's something more to them, right? So, but it's not a feeling. They didn't have a gut feeling. It's an experience.
So are you saying this to tell if someone's reliable? You have to have an experience and a feeling. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
the only way you get that experience is by jumping onto the process and trying to
Do you know
apply that
how
process.
dangerous that is? For example, if we are led by our feelings or our experiences, for example, if I don't want to go to work, and I'm driven by my feelings, what's going to happen
Yeah,
is
okay.
going to lead me
You can't
not
compare
going
spiritual
yeah,
and
to work.
material plan.
So that's the question, yeah.
You can't
Thank
compare
you.
them.
Yeah.
You can't compare
So
spiritual
what makes
and
him
material.
reliable? What makes him reliable?
So this is what I'm saying. You'll
Yeah.
have a spiritual experience. You got to have a distinction between
a feeling.
No, not a feeling, a spiritual experience. There's a key difference. Yeah, there's a key difference between a feeling and a spiritual experience. The same way there's a difference between faith
So you
and
have
trust.
these different faiths. They all
Yeah.
have their own experiences.
Yeah.
Their experiences contradict your experience. Okay.
Yeah.
Right now they're all claiming absolute truth. They
Yeah.
they got exclusivity. Right. They're saying,
Yeah.
well, our
They're
God,
saying only
Allah's
ours
God.
is the right way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now they all contradict. Okay. Now somebody walks up and says, well,
Yeah.
hold on, which one is the truth? Okay.
Okay.
How do we ascertain? How do we
How do you
affirm
ascertain?
which
Okay.
one's the
so
truth?
this comes on to study, yeah? Now, this is a very hypothetical argument. You're presenting to me that each religion contradicts each other. What you've got to have a look at is how the religions join. Because if you think about it, most religions, they teach the one principle that you need to love God. Yeah, we have this world where the media is trying to say, oh, religions
Atheists
are saying...
teach that. What I'm saying is, what faiths?
No. This is what I'm saying. Islam tells you to love God. Christianity tells you to love God. Hare Krishna tells you to love God. Sikhism tells you to love God. Tell me how these faiths are different when they're all trying to teach you the same principle. Yeah, no. It's not. It's not no. They may be slightly different, but the end goal of all religions is to love God.
That's not the point we're making.
No,
sir.
that is, you
So that's
can't,
not the point we're
present
making.
me.
That's
Yeah,
not
you
the point.
can't
The
say
point we're
a religion
asking.
that contradicts
Yeah.
your religion because they don't.
They do.
Physically,
Let me tell you
in the
what,
world,
let me tell you-
they're all talking about loving.
Before you
Go on, yeah.
Does that make sense?
let's say
They do.
let's say
yeah.
let's say I'm a drug dealer, yeah?
Yeah.
And I give you my drugs, and I say the drugs that I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
is gonna make you feel good, and you're gonna have a spiritual experience.
Yeah.
Does that mean that I'm a reliable source? Yes or
Your
no?
drugs are giving you material experience. Yeah. So drugs, yeah, a material substance can't give you a spiritual experience. This is what I'm saying. You have to take to the spiritual process.
The question is, let's say I'm a teacher,
I'm
and I've
telling
got
you.
my drugs,
Yeah.
and I say my drugs that I've conjured up
Yeah.
is going to give you a spiritual and
Experience,
physical
right. So a
experience.
material thing is going to be a spiritual experience.
Does that make me reliable? Yes or no?
No.
Exactly.
Why?
Let's go to Brahma, yeah?
No.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
You have to realise there's a big difference between
I know,
giving you something
let me finish,
material
let me finish,
and
let me
giving
finish.
you a
Let me
process
finish.
by which
you're
you
saying
achieve
you're
something.
saying Brahma, he heard from God that God's got two arms.
Yeah.
He probably recorded it right, drew the picture right.
Whatever he done, listened
and then
whatever.
he passed it down.
Yeah.
Now, for you reading that, you're saying you had a spiritual experience, yeah? Yeah. So the same question with the drugs is
Yeah.
what makes him as a person reliable? Are you able to answer
And I
that?
told you that.
How
by
can we
taking-
substantiate that?
It's the same principle of science. You take to the process, you try it, and you'll know the evidence
So you're
something
saying
off
it's
without
scientific.
trying
You're
it.
saying scientific.
Think about it. It is scientific.
Right, okay,
Now,
show us how
if,
it's-
if I
what
turned
is
around
science
to
to
you,
you? What
what is
science to
science?
you?
Science is a verification of a theory. That's it. Actually, not a verification. It's science is all about disproving theories, actually, because nothing can ever be proved. Only something can be disproved.
Right.
That's
okay,
the way. That's the scientific
science
basis.
is a process of repeatable process.
No,
That's what it is.
it's not.
So, for example,
No, I've got to.
Right, okay.
Trust me, it's
Okay.
not.
If science is that, yeah, can science prove right now that what you're living, this reality, isn't a dream state?
the question we're asking is this: what makes what we put our lives in, what we put our belief, what we put our faith in? You sitting there over there recently playing your music, and you really put your heart and your faith in it, right? The question we're
Sorry
asking is,
to interrupt, but we really enjoyed this chat. But we guys,
You got to go.
yeah. Coming?
Yeah, I'm gonna come.
listen, I'm rounding up.
This is the key thing.
How do we affirm? How do we prove? Or can we show
Yeah.
that what we are following is reliable? Do we just go back to Brahman? And if we do go back to
don't
Brahman,
go
what
back to
makes
Brahman.
what makes him reliable? For
You
example,
don't. You have the experiences. It's a scientific.
so it's based on experience.
If I have, look, for example, if I've said the world is flat, I theorize the world is flat. I could spread that news to everyone. People in the world believed it until someone came and disproved it and had the experience. Actually, it's circular. I went to the end and I didn't fall off. Yeah? Until you've had that physical experience, you can't say anything. And this is why I'm saying there's no point discussing hypothetically. This religion says that. This religion
We're
says
not
that.
discussing hypothetically.
This
It's
is
very clear. I'm sure.
no, it's not very clear.
I'm not
because
sure
the
why
point
you
is-
can't understand this. It cannot be
Of
enough
course, there can
evidence.
be evidence, man. This is where it can be evidence. Of course,
There
it
cannot be
can.
enough evidence. Did you want to say something?
Yeah,
Of course
because
it can. You know, when
so
that
okay,
person didn't fall off the
let's
earth,
get to the root. Yeah, so
we're never going to get to the root.
every time you
know this.
read the book here,
Yeah.
do you always get an experience?
Yeah, you learn more and more deeply. Your
Do
consciousness
you
changes.
always get an experience or experience?
you do.
Okay, can you give us some of the examples of experience?
Some examples, just think about the way your consciousness changes by reading. That's a spiritual experience. The way you learn to appreciate people just by reading this. This is an experience. The way you change from being so materialistic and always angry or thinking about, why has he got that, why has he got that, to just accepting things. That's an experience. Your life changes, you become happy, you become peaceful. If that's not an experience, just by reading, this is the key thing, by just reading, not doing anything else.
Good, thank you. Yeah, so you're saying you read the book,
Yeah.
you saw the pictures, and then it makes you feel happy, it makes you feel excited, but
Changes the way you life.
changes the way how you think.
Forget the pictures,
But
just the book alone.
Just the book, just
wait,
look
wait,
at the pictures.
but
from it.
how do you know that it's true? Because I can read, let's say, Harry Potter, it can make me feel happy and excited.
Yeah.
Does that mean
A
that
lot
Harry
of people
Potter is
do
true?
get so.
How long does it last? This is the key
Okay,
thing.
so you're saying...
Harry Potter don't change your way of life.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a key
Wait,
distinction.
so
I'm talking about
th-
something
I'm,
here.
I'm just
that
thinking,
changes your way of life.
I'm just going by what you're
Well,
saying.
Riley, she's a billionaire, so it changed her life.
Exactly, yeah. You're
Oh,
saying...
don't get me started on her, innit, right?
You're saying,
Too
you're
much
saying if
speaking
someone
very
reads the
good.
book, they're going to feel happy, they're going to feel good about themselves, it's going to change the way they think.
Yeah.
Let's say someone reads Harry Potter, like I said, it makes them feel good, it's changed the way they think, or someone reads Star Wars, it makes them feel good, it's changed the way they think. How do we know that it's truth that they're reading? Because they can be deceived.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Anyone
Good
can be
question.
deceived.
Right, so how do you know you're not deceived?
How do
That's
you know
the
you're not?
question.
Because
we can answer that. That's a
because we're
problem.
going
but-
through the
but-
process and we're spiritually experiencing what we're experiencing.
Okay, so you keep
the
it
same
feeling
way
good.
you're going through your
Yeah,
process
good.
and you're experiencing.
We'll hit anyone ahead now. So you're reading the book, you keep it feeling good, you keep it feeling happy, but the question is, how do you know you're not deceived?
How do you know? Because of the experiences
because
you
of the
face, man.
feelings.
This is you feel the right when you
So
know,
when
when
someone
you
gets
guys
high
read,
of drugs, they're feeling good.
but this is a different thing. That's
How
not a
do they know-
bona fide process.
So apart from
Yeah?
feelings, how do you know it's
You
the
have
truth?
experiences,
Okay,
bro.
apart
You
from that-
can't. I can't know. That is it. There's nothing apart from that.
So you can't tell if you're in error just
You
based
can
on how
tell
you
in
feel.
your because
Yeah, how?
the thing is,
How?
now there's two things. You can either follow the process, have an experience,
Yeah.
or you just have a random experience. Now, what's the basis of this random experience?
The question is, how
Nothing.
can you tell you're not
Yeah?
in error? That's the
Yeah,
question.
but this is the thing. Compare the experiences. I've done drugs. Yeah. I've done alcohol. I've done all this. I've compared the experiences
this-
that I've had in my life.
this is what you're saying.
Compared to what I'm having here.
You're saying you
following
cannot
the
tell
bona fide
you're in
process.
error. The only way you can tell is if you don't have the experience. If you don't feel happy, you don't feel good about the book.
Not good about the book. This is the thing. You need to understand there's a difference between spiritual experiences and feelings. This is the thing. Feeling good is not the same as a spiritual experience. And this is the key thing. They're getting merged in this argument, which is, I'm clearly saying
So what's
they're
your
not
name
the
again?
same.
What's your name again?
Manish.
What I'm saying to you, which we've touched on before,
Yeah.
is that people do say they have spiritual experiences,
Right.
but their spiritual experiences contradicts yours. That's what the point we're making. The different various faiths around our
They
around our
don't
world,
contradict ours.
they
This is the
do.
point. We're
They
making-
do.
No, they don't.
Islam contradicts what you believe.
No.
They say they have their spiritual experiences. Judaism, Christianity, they all
Yeah.
contradict. So the question is, everyone's come with their subjective.
How do they contradict when they're all teaching the same thing?
All of us are coming with the same with subjective, experiences, if you like, okay, of what they believe and their worldview and how they see God and how they see even the image of God. Like
So this is the key thing, what they see and
right,
what they experience.
So what I'm
hold
saying
on,
to you
hold
is, let me just
Yeah, go on,
finish
go on,
up,
go on.
please. So this is therefore in a subjective realm. So the question is, what makes one true and what makes one false? Because the law of logic says that both cannot be right
They
or
can
true
both
at the
be
same
right.
time.
Is
So
an
which
electron
one
a
is
wave
true?
or a particle?
Which one? That's not
No. This is logic because this is science in its fundamental
No,
form.
no. The
Pure
question.
logic- No.
Respond to
It
the question
is.
first.
This is what I'm
Respond
saying
to
to
the
you.
question
You can have A and B. Logic
Oh, you can
works
have
like
both.
that. Of course you can.
Okay, so you can have something. Can you have something that's true and not true at the same
Of
time,
course
the
you
same
can.
way?
That's what the double split experiment
This
is.
is why
So
God
you
can have
can-
a form and not have a form at
You
the
just
same
dig the hole
time.
for yourself.
This is why God
Do-
can have
do-
a form and not have a form
Do you know
at
why
the
you
same
just
time.
dig, based on your whole argument, do you know why it's so dangerous? Let me tell you why. Because I'll give you a perfect example here.
Yeah.
You've got a husband and you've got a gold digger. Now the gold digger wife is saying, yeah, I love you, I care about you,
Yeah.
I want the best for you. And the husband is thinking, oh, what this person is saying to me is making me feel good, it's making me feel better, it's changing the way I think. But all we know that this person is lying to him, yeah? So how do you know that the experience that you're having, you read the book, you feel good, you feel happy, how do you know that experience is not lying to you? That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah. I don't see how you can't see the question we've asked, because we've asked it
answer that.
several times and it's the same
I've
question in a
told you
different
because
form.
the experience
But-
is
but-
evident.
how do you know it's
I'm
not lying to
following
you?
the
How do you know?
process.
Yeah, how do you
Okay,
know?
so like this, yeah. When you have a science experiment, yeah, and you get the same result by performing an experiment twice, does that mean that result is fake?
So the gold digger tells the person that
You could use two different approaches and you can get the same result. Does that mean something's fake?
the gold digger's telling the guy
No, but does
that
that mean
she
something's
loves
fake?
him,
Because
she
you can
cares
use
about
two
him,
approaches.
and he's still feeling the same way. But how do you know this is not lying to you?
No, but what I'm asking you here, so I can use approach A and approach B and have the same experience. Yeah, does that
But you
mean
break
any of those
you
approaches
break
are wrong?
the laws of logic. You're not
No,
understanding
what do you
that.
mean it doesn't follow the laws of logic?
It doesn't follow the laws. You
course
cannot.
it does.
Okay. Let me just give young lady. Come with me. Let me ask this young lady. Right? Do you believe in the laws of logic?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Right. So, do you believe
Yeah.
that somebody, this gentleman standing in front of you, okay, can he be standing in front of you,
Yeah.
talking to you, and not standing in front of you, talking to you in the same time and the same way? Is that possible?
In the same. Say
In
it
this-
again.
Okay.
Be
Can this
standing in
man
front-
be
yeah.
standing in front of you,
Yeah.
having a conversation with you,
Yeah.
and not standing in front of you, having a conversation with you at the same time in the same way? Is that possible? Can he?
No.
He can't. Right.
You can't say that. 'cause
Right.
you
So what I'm
can't-
saying to you is that
can't
you-
Your physical
prove-
presence cannot be in two places at the same time.
That's exactly the
How?
point. It makes
You
no
don't know whether
sense.
Your
this-
physical
Hold on, no, no.
presence.
You don't know whether your physical presence right now is real.
What do you mean?
This
I
is
am
what-
here.
That's the
Supposedly.
point.
But you don't know that's true until you take a higher perspective and see yourself.
Okay, so what's the
in
highest
that physical
perspective?
sense. This is the question. This is the path. This is why you go down.
Right,
the
do you
path.
see why? Do you see why it doesn't
Don't
make
tell
any
me that
sense?
there is something else and you don't know what that something else is.
That's a good point. That's a good
Okay,
point.
so
It's kind of
you have to
hypothetical.
follow the
Exactly.
process and
If-
learn.
if that's the case,
I'm
then
not
anything is
claiming.
possible.
No,
That's true. Yeah.
So what are you saying?
That means we can fly it, or
Like,
we could say anything.
Like, that's what you're saying.
No, so-
No, no.
Am I gonna get a
That
chance
irks
to get
me.
in?
That irks me. No, it doesn't make
Really?
sense.
Of course
It doesn't
You
make
have said
sense.
I could be here, but I could be flying in Jamaica over there.
That's what it comes down to. The absurdity.
It might be possible, and
Anything can be
it
possible.
might be.
This is what you got to
So,
understand.
so where are you getting your
Can you
facts
prove
and
to
figures
can
from?
you
That's
prove
a good-
to
that's
me
what we've
right
been
now
asking him.
I just
that this is a reality? Can you prove to me?
Okay, prove to me that it's not.
This is the question. You can't prove to me either way. So hold on. Why is all of a sudden
Listen,
because I can't prove
the
something?
thing is-
right now,
the thing is-
you-
I
right
am
now,
here
right now.
debating.
Wait. Listen to
You
what she's
believe
saying.
you're
I
here
am-
right now, yeah?
She's standing here
The
right
life
now.
you're living right now.
Yeah.
You believe it's a reality, right? Prove to me that this whole existence, that what you're living right now, is in a dream state. Prove to me.
But what has that to do with the
The
question?
same
Prove
look.
to me.
It's
Listen,
it's
even
not
science
something-
can't answer
Right,
this.
right.
No,
So-
I
How
don't
are you
think
going to
that.
answer it?
You
So the
can't say
question-
that your evidence
Science
is
can't
enough
prove
when
that
your
this
evidence
whole
can't
reality
prove
right
it.
now is in
What
a dream
I'm
state.
saying-
Okay then. So then.
My evidence can't
Okay. So
prove
then
what you're saying.
ultimately, what you're
It's just
saying
different
is. So then, what? Okay. What is the baseline?
This is the thing.
I want to eat.
Yeah, don't worry. Listen, nice. Thank you for talking. Yeah. All right. So what we're
is it.
simply using is we're giving you the laws of logic. Okay. The laws of logic. Yeah. Is
You can't say A and not B. The laws of logic imply
I'm saying
A and B.
I'm saying that
Simple as.
Manish. It's absurdity
not
to believe
absurdity.
that two things contradicting each other.
It's as simple as that.
You do not live your life that way, okay?
I
You
can
do not
live my
live your
life
life.
that
You
way.
you don't.
Yes, I do.
Okay, let me tell you why you don't. Live
Okay,
your
why
life.
don't I live it that way?
You do not think that you could be standing here and then all of a sudden you're going to be transported to China. Be honest. Do you think that?
You can do that.
No, but I'm asking you.
Neutrons can be
personally-
transported from A to B
Listen,
within
this
less
is
than
what I'm
like a
asking you. This is what I'm
nanosecond.
asking you.
Let's conclude because we're going around in circles.
You believe that that's going to happen? Right now?
In physics, it has happened.
Ah, he
Particles
believes that,
exist in A and B.
Okay, but okay,
At the
this is-
fundamental level. Let me
this is
flip this on you then.
this
Okay.
is the absurd
So
thing.
you're saying to me, Brahma, how can you question Brahma's reliable?
No,
So how can you- how can
the
you
question is, how do you know he's not lying to you? That's the
Yeah,
question.
okay, so how do you know Muhammad's not lying to you then? Let's flip it because
We know that
no,
Muhammad's
but
lying.
Muhammad
let's
is lying to us.
no, but this is what I'm saying. So any religion, how can you say it? This is what I'm saying.
Because we can prove Muhammad's lying to us.
How?
What about Krishna?
How?
We go through the Quran and we look at the logical contradictions.
In
We
the
look
Quran.
at the statements that are unhistorical. We look at the places that they spoke about. We look at various things and we can use good reason, good logic
Okay,
to,
cool.
to
So
substantiate
have you
what
done
we're
that
saying.
with the Hare Krishna movement? Have you looked at what we're preaching? You can't contradict until you've had a. You see what I'm saying? Until you've
So I'm
physically
asking
seen
you a
it.
question,
So
if you know the answer.
yeah, go for it.
So how can I do
Having a good discussion right here.
The reason why.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you, this is the
Yeah,
first time
Hare
we've
Krishna
actually
and-
discussed with Hare Krishna. We're speaking to Muslims, yeah. So when we're speaking to your friend, is it Ram? Yeah. When we're speaking to him, having this conversation with him, we were actually asking, inspiring about what you actually believe. So we haven't actually read your book.
Yeah.
We've never read it, so we don't know what your book says. However, we can ask you what you believe are reliable according to you. But as far as we're concerned, obviously,
Hold on, that's a
you
problem.
thanks. But as far as in terms of actually studying the scripture, we haven't done that. But we can ask, like I can ask anybody without having to know
Yeah.
the history. Why do you believe?
Yeah.
It makes it reliable. Okay,
And
I don't need to know your
okay.
history.
Yeah, no, you can ask that, and I'm
And so
telling
that's
you,
what we asked you about.
the way to
earlier.
figure it out whether it's reliable or not, the way I know it's reliable is because of experiences I've had. They won't. So if you read that book and you have your experience, you'll know whether it's reliable. It's essential. It's as simple as that.
But what experience did you have? A spiritual experience.
It's yes, I have a spiritual experience.
And the
You have to be a bit more specific with
I don't
spiritual.
have to be more specific.
So
because
for
they're
yourself,
personal. They're for myself. Until you, this is what I'm saying. Read the book. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Simple as.